as a virtual assistant, as you keep growing yourself, your skills, you can actually charge more. And of course, you can provide better services for your clients. Hey there and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now my goal is that after this video is to give you the top career advice that I would give you as a virtual assistant based on the many videos that I made this year. Now if this is your first time on my channel, my name is Lacaba. I've been working from home since I was 15 years old and now run an outsourcing company here in the Philippines, and I post videos every Sunday and Thursday on how to work from home and how to have a business from home. So make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so you don't miss any of my videos. Now 2021 has been a weird roller coaster of different things, and I wanted to come over and give you guys the top career advice that I have given to other people a lot. I've given to my students, to our own assistants inside of the agency, and be able to give you hopefully a platform or a way to launch yourself into the new year. Now the first advice that I do have, and it's probably the most important one, is to constantly upgrade your skills. Now this is from the video that I made of how to upgrade your virtual assistant skills, but the biggest reason why this is such an essential thing for you to do is that as a virtual assistant, the more that you work on your skills, the more you can actually charge. That is the secret to this, is the faster or more efficient that you do certain things, that you don't have to be charging by the hour. You can charge things by a package. The more freedom that you can create for yourself, and the more just efficient, more things that you can get done in a day. So that's why I'm putting this advice front and center, is that as a virtual assistant, as you keep growing yourself, your skills, you can actually charge more. And of course, you can provide better services for your clients. So that's number one, is just upgrade your skills as much as you can. Check out that video of how to upgrade your skills as a virtual assistant, because then I outline all the different ways that you can. And also at the same time, you want to be able to start 2022 right, correct? So to be able to do that, you have to upgrade yourself starting now. Don't wait until the new year. Start it right now. The next piece of advice that I have is to create and maintain a portfolio. Now, even if you're right now working really well with a client that you have, still keep a record of all of the different things that you create with them or for them, so that later on, if you do end up leaving them or things go haywire, you still have a record of the things that you've been able to create for the company. Do keep in mind that there might be NDAs or there might be different copyright stuff, but as much as you can, try to always collect and keep building on your portfolio. Again, even though you're already currently working with a client, it's always good to have a record of the things that you've been able to create, so then you can either use that to launch yourself to the next client or have that as a reference point for yourself in the future. And if you're just going to go ahead and create your portfolio, I do have a whole video on the step-by-step guide on how to create a portfolio using Canva. And of course, if you guys want to sign up for Canva, you can use my link leonlai.com/Canva to be able to get a discount. And also, full disclosure, I do get a percentage of that if you guys sign up with my link. So of course, it's going to be a huge support to this channel for me to keep going, as I'm also building 2XU at the same time. Another piece of career advice that I have, especially if you don't have any experience at all, is that your current skills, your mundane or normal skills, can actually be virtual assistant skills. Now, this is from a video that I've done where I talk about the different virtual assistant skills that you might already have. And I talk about the things, the small things that you do every day, your habits, can also be applied to being a virtual assistant. So let's say you already are someone who likes managing their time. That's something you just automatically do. That is something that you can apply, of course, as a virtual assistant, as a soft skill that you can show off to your client that, hey, I know how to do this. The next piece of advice that I have is that go at your own pace. What I mean by that, and that actually is coming from a video that I did of the reality of being a virtual assistant, is that everyone will have a different path. Just because one path worked perfectly for this person doesn't mean that it's not going to be the path that works for you. And just because it works for you doesn't mean it's going to work for your best friend or the next person that you teach how to be a virtual assistant to. Everyone is going to have their own formula, what they're comfortable with, what they want to do. You might be someone who prefers being a full-time virtual assistant, or you prefer being a freelancer. It is up to you. There's no right or wrong answer really in this journey that you're on in being a virtual assistant. There's only what feels right to you and what makes sense to you with your goals, your lifestyle, and how you want your life to be. And that actually really goes with the rest of your life. You know, everyone will have their own path. and you don't have to feel restricted to following your own path just because that's been the way that you've always been. You can always pivot, you can always find different things that you want to do as you go on through your journey. Next piece of career advice that I have is don't be late. What I mean by this, and this is coming from the video where I talk about actually online interviews, is that you want to try as much as possible to submit things as early as you can, including, of course, attending interviews. Try to be there 5 to 10 minutes before, so then you can check for any technicalities or anything, your internet, your camera, your microphone, you can test for that. And the same thing goes with your deadlines, with the things that you need to get done. Try to always make time for it. Before the deadline, you're already done, because then you have time to double, triple check everything to make sure that you have everything in place. A lot of the time we do procrastinate. I know how that feels, but it does save us a lot of time and money when we have that time to check where everything is at, rather than barreling through and waiting for the deadline before you actually work on that thing. The next piece of advice that I have is create your own brand. Now, I've talked about this before, but as a virtual assistant or as someone who is freelancing, it's really important that you build your brand. That way you have something to fall back on. If you lose clients, if clients change their minds, there's always a way for you to be able to pivot and find the next one. This is coming from my video, Ways to Get Experience, if you don't have any experience as a virtual assistant, where I talk about everything that you do, everything that you show up as you start working as a virtual assistant, is your brand. So keep that in mind of how you treat your clients, how you show up for work, the output that you create. All of that accumulate to who you are and who you're going to be known to be. So keep that in mind, that you have to build your brand and you have to be conscious about it. You have to be intentional on how you want to build it. The next piece of advice that I have is shadow your client during the first 2 weeks. Now, this is coming from the video, Your First Day as a Virtual Assistant, What to Expect, where I talk about on the first day or first week or first 2 weeks in the job, try to shadow your client. What I mean by this is try to find out what are they doing every day, what are their habits, what are the things that make sense to them that you can then attach to what it is that you're doing. So let's say the first thing that they do in the morning is go through 50 emails, then you start noticing that, like, hey, maybe I can clean up your emails. Maybe I can go through your emails instead of you, so you can focus on other things inside of the business. So shadowing is more than just watching what it is that they do. It's then starting to pick apart the different things that you can do for them, so that frees them up to be able to focus on growing the business, which of course helps you as a virtual assistant, because that means that you get to keep your job because they keep continuing on growing their business. The next piece of advice that I really want to make sure that you guys get is soft skills over hard skills. So what I mean by this is you should always prioritize your soft skills, not just the hard skills that you're doing. So hard skills are skills that you can measure, like marketing, sales, lead gen. Those are all hard skills. Soft skills are ones that you don't always see. So communication skills, your leadership skills, your self-motivation skills. These are all soft skills that are really as important as your hard skills. You could be the most experienced person out there with all of the skills, but if you don't have the right soft skills, you might not end up working with your client for a longer period. This is coming from a video of 10 plus soft skills that you should have as a virtual assistant or upgrade as a virtual assistant. And I'm hoping that as you guys review that video, you are able to see, okay, what are different ways that I can keep improving myself, which goes back to number one from earlier, which is always upgrade yourself and your skills. The next piece of advice, and it goes with the working on your brand, is make yourself visible. Not just collect your portfolio, not just keep things of what are the things that you do, but share your wins on social media. Show people what it is that you do. So for example, for me, I do this all the time still, where I show off what are different things that we're up to instead of 2XU, so then people see and are learning more about what it is that we do. This is coming from the video How to Market Yourself with Social Media as a Virtual Assistant, where I talk about in depth of what are different ways that you can show up online, so you have this just word of mouth of how amazing you are, of the different things that you can do. So the next time a potential client asks a Facebook friend of yours of like, hey, do you know a virtual assistant who can do this? They're like, this person I know. Now, the last piece of advice that I do have as you guys are jump starting your career as a virtual assistant in 2022 or whatever year that you're watching this in, is to set boundaries. Now, this is from a video that I did on how to work from home as an introvert, but whether or not you're an introvert or an extrovert, this still works. keep in mind that if you don't have boundaries, that'll give your client the freedom to be able to control your life. You want to be able to be the person who sets boundaries on when you want to work or what's comfortable for you depending on their schedule. When it comes to setting boundaries, it's knowing that it's okay to say no when you're uncomfortable with something, so then you can move on and find things that do make you comfortable or you are okay with doing. There's never anything wrong with setting boundaries with your employers, so then you can just keep working and getting things done because you are within the space that you have already set boundaries in. Now, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button right there. Comment below, what piece of advice do you have for someone who is just starting out being a virtual assistant, and what is something that you've learned also in this year? What's your favorite video that you've watched so far on my channel? I would really love to know. Now, if you guys still haven't, make sure to hit subscribe button right there so you don't miss any of my videos every Sunday and Thursday on how to work from home and how to have a business from home, which you guys can check out the playlists right here and the newest video right here. And I hope you guys have an awesome day, and remember that small steps matters, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!